There's a pattern hidden in the bones of our planet, a cycle of destruction so precise it feels intentional. Civilizations wiped out, histories erased, and the terrifying part? It's happened before, and the evidence suggests it's happening again. So let me ask you this. What if we're not the first version of humanity, but just the latest? They buried the Earth twice. The first time we knew it was happening. We saw the smoke, we felt the heat, we watched the forests burn, the oceans rise, and the animals vanish. We heard the warnings and ignored them. The second time, we didn't even notice. No explosions, no flames, just silence. The trees were still standing in some places. The skies still looked blue on good days. But something else had died, something harder to see, harder to name, wonder, connection, memory. We stopped listening, stopped looking. We buried the Earth again, not with machines this time, but with distraction, with forgetting. This isn't just a story about climate change, or technology, or pollution. It's a story about us, about how we lost our place in the world, and how we might find it again. So if you're still here, listening, take a breath. Forget the noise for a moment, and come with me. Let's remember what we've lost, and ask the question no one wants to face. What happens after the second burial? It started with fire, not the kind you gather around, but the kind that smokes out forests and melts ice older than anything we can remember. We called it progress. Coal, steam, steel. Engines roared, cities rose, and in our rush to build everything, we forgot what we were standing on. The earth. We dug into it. We drilled it open. We cleared trees as if they were in the way, when they were actually holding us together. And slowly, the first burial began. You see, we didn't kill the earth in one sudden moment. It wasn't one bomb, one factory, one pipeline. It was millions of little choices, repeated over generations. We made plastic to make life easier. Then, we filled the oceans with it. We lit up cities to stay awake longer, then forgot how stars used to look. We cleared forests to grow more food, then wondered why the air started to feel thinner. But the warnings were there. Scientists, elders, activists. They raised their voices, loudly, clearly. Some even screamed, but most of us kept scrolling, kept shopping, kept moving forward, even when the signs all said, turn back. The Amazon didn't die overnight. It died inch by inch, tree by tree, silently, while we were busy binge-watching something forgettable. And the animals. So many of them are gone, not just the rare ones, frogs, birds, even insects we used to hear on warm summer nights. You ever notice how quiet the evenings are now? It's not in your head. It's real. We saw all of this. It wasn't hidden. There were documentaries, news reports, even viral tweets. And yet the machines didn't stop. Because the economy had to grow. Because money had more voice than rivers. Because we thought we could fix it later. But nature doesn't work on our deadlines. She doesn't care about convenience. And when we crossed her limits, she didn't shout. She just began to fade. This was the first burial, and we were wide awake for it. We watched the earth get sicker, and instead of healing it, we built better air conditioners. We said we loved nature, then paved over it to build more parking. We made extinction feel normal, and called it just how things are. So the forests fell, the oceans warmed, the skies changed, and we adapted to less beauty, to more noise, to a planet slowly dying right in front of us. But we didn't stop there, because what came next was even more dangerous. Not destruction you could see, but something deeper. We didn't just bury the earth. We buried our connection to it. The second burial didn't look like destruction. It looked like distraction. No smoke, no sirens, just screens. We stopped walking in forests and started scrolling through feeds. We stopped watching sunsets and started watching notifications. And slowly, without even realizing it, we buried the earth again, this time inside our minds. We traded birdsong for ringtones. We forgot the feeling of grass between our fingers. We forgot how silence used to feel. We forgot what it meant to be part of nature, because now we just visit it, like tourists in our own home. This was the second burial, and it didn't happen to us. It happened through us. We didn't need bulldozers this time. We had apps. We built a world inside glass and called it connected. But in that world, we became smaller, less patient, more anxious, more numb. Nature used to be our mirror. It showed us how to live with rhythm, not rush, with seasons, not schedules, with enough, not excess. But now we measure our worth in likes. Our attention is for sale, and our memories are trapped in devices we barely own. The earth is still here, but something inside us isn't. We've stopped looking at the moon, stopped listening to rain, stopped remembering what it means to just be without needing to perform it for someone. We live in cities lit so bright, some kids have never seen a real night sky. Some have never climbed a tree. Some have never even heard a bee. We've turned nature into wallpaper, a background for selfies. Let's be honest. We saw it coming. The data was there. The warnings were loud. The signs were everywhere. But we looked away. Not because we were evil, not because we didn't care, but because it was easier not to feel the weight of it all. We told ourselves small lies. It's not that bad. Technology will fix it. Someone else will handle it. I'm just one person. What difference can I make? But deep down, we knew. We knew the planet was warming. We knew the glaciers were shrinking. We knew the forests were dying. We knew animals were vanishing forever. And still, we went on with our day. Comfort became more important than truth. Why think about melting ice when there are bills to pay, shows to binge, emails to answer? Why challenge the system when the system gives us everything we think we need? We became addicted to convenience, to comfort, to the illusion that everything would work itself out. And we were told what we wanted to hear. By brands that said, "Don't worry, this product is eco-friendly." By leaders who said, "We'll get to climate change, just not right now." By influencers who said, "You can save the planet by buying more stuff." Greenwashing became the new denial. A fresh coat of paint over a crumbling wall. We bought into it because it felt good, because it was easier than changing. The systems we trusted were never built to protect nature. They were built to protect profit. Short-term gain over long-term survival. Growth at any cost. And when someone tried to challenge that, they were labeled extreme, unrealistic, alarmist. But what's more extreme, warning people that the house is on fire, or pretending the flames don't exist. We failed to act not just because of apathy, but because we were trained to forget, to stay busy, to stay distracted, to stay numb. That's the real danger. Not ignorance, but willful blindness. Because knowing and doing nothing hurts more than not knowing at all. So yes, we had chances, moments when the world paused, when we could have changed. We had the science, we had the voices, we had the time, but we chose comfort, we chose routine, we chose not to choose. And now the price of our comfort is becoming clear. The heat, the floods, the loneliness, the hollow feeling that something is deeply wrong, even if we can't always explain what. We thought we were escaping discomfort, but really, we were burying the truth. And the longer we wait to face it, the heavier the shovel becomes. Not everyone forgot. Not everywhere went silent. In pockets of the world, In forests, deserts, mountaintops, and tiny villages, some people kept listening, kept remembering. They didn't need studies to tell them the earth was hurting. They could feel it, because they never stopped being part of it. An elder in the Amazon once said, "When the forest dies, part of our language dies with it. There are words that only make sense when the birds still sing." A shepherd in the Himalayas noticed the glaciers retreating, not through maps or charts, but because the mountain no longer gave water where it once did. A fisherman in the Philippines felt the silence of the sea, not in numbers, but in the absence of movement beneath his boat. These are the echoes from the edge, the whispers we refused to hear. People who never saw nature as a resource, but as a relative. People who understood that taking from the earth means giving something back. People whose wisdom was dismissed as primitive, when in fact it was prophetic. While we chased speed, they practiced patience. While we mined, drilled, paved, they protected, remembered, mourned. They planted food by moon cycles, listened to rivers like voices, read the wind like scripture. But even their memory has limits, because the ice is melting. The rain doesn't come when it should. The insects don't pollinate like they used to. And even those on the edge, those who never stopped listening, are now asking, what happens when the earth forgets us too? This is the part no one likes to talk about. That there might be a point where it's not just about saving the planet, but grieving it. That maybe, in some ways, the old world is already gone. The one with stable seasons, predictable harvests, abundant wildlife, clean rivers, unspoiled silence, and yet, even now, even as the edge crumbles, the memory still flickers, in ceremony, in song, in soil, in seeds passed down from hand to hand. There is still knowledge, still resilience, still time. Maybe we won't rebuild the old world, but maybe we can learn from those who never stopped honoring it. Because those echoes, those whispers from the edge, they are not just warnings, they are invitations to slow down, to listen again, to remember what it feels like to belong. So, is it too late? That's the question hanging in the air, quiet, heavy, scary. And here's the truth. We don't know. Some damage is permanent. Some species won't return. Some glaciers won't grow back. But this isn't about undoing the past. It's about deciding who we want to be now. Because here's something powerful. Nature is stubborn. She doesn't give up easily. A forest can regrow. A coral reef can heal. A polluted river can begin to run clean again, if we stop poisoning it. The earth is wounded, but not lifeless. And more importantly, we're still here, still breathing, still capable of choosing something better. Hope doesn't mean ignoring the crisis. Hope means looking it in the eye and deciding to act anyway. We don't need to be perfect. We just need to care more than we did yesterday. Plant one tree, unplug for 1 hour, learn from those who never forgot how to live with the earth. Speak up, even if your voice shakes, even if it feels small, because small things ripple. And right now, we need a tidal wave of remembering. We need to fall in love again, not with screens, not with stuff, but with the world outside our walls, with clouds, with bees, with the sound of wind in leaves, with each other. Because when you love something deeply, you protect it, you fight for it, you refuse to let it be buried without a voice. There is still time, not forever, not unlimited, but enough. Enough to plant seeds, enough to change direction, enough to leave something behind that deserves to be remembered. We don't get a reset button, but we do get this moment, and sometimes that's all it takes. If the first burial was destruction, and the second was forgetting, then the third hasn't happened yet. But it could. And this time, it won't be the earth that gets buried. It'll be us. Not because nature wants revenge, nature doesn't punish, it just responds. And if we keep ignoring the signs, if we keep choosing comfort over courage, distraction over depth, convenience over consequence, then the world will move on without us. It's done it before. We are not the earth's masters. We are its guests, its children, its memory keepers. But if we lose that memory, if we forget again, we may not get another chance to remember. The third burial would be quiet, not with explosions, but with apathy, not with collapse, but with indifference. A future where we don't even notice what's missing, because we never took the time to care. But it doesn't have to end that way, because the future is still unwritten, and we are still here, still breathing, still capable of choosing a different story, not one of guilt, not one of shame, but one of return. Return to awe, return to rhythm, return to remembering that this earth is not a background, it's everything. And maybe, just maybe, if we choose to remember now, if we choose to listen, if we choose to act, then the third burial never comes. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next one. Bye for now.